Coding Academy. This is one of the best crash course that we are going to study, that is based on checking whether coding is just the best skills that will be attaining in this year. So if you are one of the person who want to change the career, this is the right course for you. If you have already installed this VS Code Studio into your computer, open the folder, create a folder, and open it. So you can open it like this, and first put there the image that you'll be using, because I will need the image. And if there is no image, please find them, because they are going to be useful in this course. Then you come here and you open again, you go with more option, and you come here, you open it with VS Code Studio if you have VS Code Studio. And when you have already opened it, you come here inside the VS Code Studio, and then you find that folder, which is a simple exercise that we are going to do. So if you are the first person in this coding, you must have already installed the extension that is called the Live Server, which is this. And this Live Server, it is the one that will be helping you to display your fast content on the browser. The first important thing that you must put in your mind, this course is created for those who are beginner or want to change the career. If you want to change the career, follow up this course step by step. Maybe I will go fast. If I go fast, try to reduce the speed using those button that is pressed by the YouTube video. So you come here on the file, and then you created the first document. Let's create the document .html like this, and then document.css for cascading style sheet, and then create another document.js for JavaScript. So you can see this is the first part that you must know. You must create the file that is having the extension of that 3 different languages, which is HTML, JS, and CSS, because it is the beginner's language that must be learned before you continue with another heavy language like Python and other programming language. So come here inside the document.html. Hope I've miswritten it very well. You come and change this name, document, like that. Yes, hope it's already changed, and you can see it is already changed. So we can't put anything here. We are going to start with here, and then we go lastly by this document.js. So for further consideration, you can see this image. It is one of the best image that I created in the Paint, that is showing us the simple HTML, how it will be looking like. This is the header, this is first part, and this is the paragraph, and followed by this simple paragraph by side the image, because the image is the inline element, and the inline element goes beside those block element if possible, and it goes inside the block element. So you come and create this and you order the list, and I will show you how it is created. You go and create another header, paragraph, button, and this content will be here, because we will make the JavaScript that displays this content below this button, and then we go with the header that is on the footer section, and then we end up with the other paragraph. So don't hesitate, this is the right course for you. The last thing that I didn't show you is our final paragraph, how this final paragraph will be looking like. So our final image will be this. Our final image will be this. It is simple, and you can see with CSS we will put the color inside here, and after putting the color inside here, we will even change the colors of the button. then make it interactive using JavaScript. When we have over the image, when we do something on the button, that interactiveness will be done by this JavaScript. I will show you simple step by step. So come inside the document, and inside the document.html, you just click shift exclamation mark and you will see the image abbreviation. When you click enter, you automatically get the entire base of HTML. So inside this document, the only thing that we need by the title, we write just simple a exercise like this. You can see by Ctrl Alt P, when you click those three buttons together, it is opened on the browser. So when you are beginner, just do this when you have already installed the live server, and come here and open it with live server like this, and you can see everything is displayed there. And I will be talking about this simple image that you see there. It is localhost in my computer that learns different language and display them on the browser. So you come here inside the body. The first thing that you create inside the body, you create the header like this, and inside below the header you put there a part that is called the main, and below main you put there a footer like this. So we are going to start with that picture. Let me bring the picture here. Let me do it like this and bring this picture here. As we begin with the picture, you can see we will need inside the header, we will need a header which is heading 1 for the element that is having the large size of the fonts that will be displayed on our browser. Let's say learning HTML is fun, and we create below it a paragraph that is saying we must still learn coding because it is useful for like that. And we go inside the main, we must put there a section. It is a container that is responsible for storing another data that is placed inside. So by the section we will put there a header also saying, for example, let's say we shall not surrender in learning coding. You can see, and below it we are going to put there a list. A list is declared by an ordered list by U and L. When you click enter, you see an ordered list is UL, and then inside we put there other constituent that make up the list 3, and then you create, for example, I will learn this course. Then second below we put there another list constituent which is the second, and we put there HTML is very important course, and then inside another let's create another list because we have 3 lines, you can see. So you come here and again say HTML is fun language that shows content on browser. Let's say on Edge, for example. So you can see now you have already finished this second part. Then inside again below the unordered list, we are going to put there's 3 things, which is header also, for example heading 2, which is below heading 1. This is the highest side, this is the lowest side to this, and there is header 3, header 4, header 5. If you want to follow along with the crucial part, the beginning of the HTML course, I have already uploaded the video that is talking about the coding for beginners. On when I talk about that is where I have talked about these headings. So you come inside there and put this: hello, I will learn this course to the end. You can see, and put there a simple paragraph that says T is useful. You can see, and then below it put there a button and say show me the importance or show me, let's say that, and let us give it ID and say content, like this, content. So you can see I have already changed something, and then below this the main, you can see I have pressed there, and inside every HTML file must be there a 1 header and a 1 main and a 1 footer. So the footer is one of the lastest part that is displayed on browser. You can see on the footer you see a simple localization like addresses, like links, like follow-ups. That is where things are represented. We see it is the last part of the web page that is displayed on the browser. So you come here inside the footer and put these simple last 2 lines. No, simple last 2 lines, simple last 2 lines. You can see, put there simple last 2 lines, which is header, for example 2, and say finally you have created your first content like this. Control S to save, and below this you must press there a simple paragraph. Let's say show me how you do that. And you remember we have pressed there inside the section, we put there a button, and that button is one that will show as other content. You see here is the content to be displayed by the JavaScript. So to put there a box or the container that we supply the content that we are going to use JavaScript to show, I will put here inside this button, no, below the button, I put there a paragraph and give it an ID of ID saying JavaScript. No, let's say it's just like that thing, and you can see this paragraph will show you something that will be supplied by JavaScript, and I will be scripting the coming time. So you can see the second project that we are going to do it. If you have already written this, when you want to see whether it is done, you can see I have already supplied them on a simple exercise or document.html. Congratulations, you have already shown your first content to the browser. Thank you. So let us continue with the second course. If you didn't see the tricks that I used, everything that I written, I Control S to save it by, you can see useful. You see, when you see this dot above, it is showing you that there is something that you have added there and it is not saved. So if you want to save it, you click Control S to save and it is gone. If that button have already gone, you see everything, and you will come here, you will see I have already changed everything. So come here inside the document.css, and the first thing that we'll do, you will write HTML like this. Now let us just use the body like this, and inside the body we will put their padding. It is the distance that must be placed inside the box of the body. And the box of the body, let me show you the box of the body by saying border 1 pixel lead. For example, you can see this box that is behind. Now to connect this document.css with this hypertext markup language, you come here inside the head of this HTML file, you put there a link for joining those document.css with HTML, and I will show you how you can bring that document.js inside this HTML. So inside there you will write document.css like this, and when you have already done it, you will see that the border that we pressed there, and you see this border normally shows us that the body is the box in which everything that is visible on our browser is contained. And you can see there is somehow a gap that is between here and here. So if you want them to this line to be to go all the way across the side, you come here inside the document.css and say padding 0 pixels like this, and the margin you set it to 0 pixels like that. And when you have already done it, you can see now the border of this box is on another side and it is not even being supplied. So remove that border and you set the width 200% with box sizing, which is border box, and you set font family to Arial, have vertical self, and you are going to see how our all words that is it, all paragraph and the headings that is present inside our HTML have already changed to its font. So this font family changes the font, how it will be looking like. You can come here inside the header and by header 2, and you say I want both to have text transform capitalized like that, and the every letter that is inside these headings is going to be capitalized, and we will see learning yellow, and below, before we put there anything that that is simple CSS trick, we have a lowercase arrow. So if we put there running, H is fun, F we S, and you can see it is very crucial and very useful. So the second thing that we'll do, we are going to put this text inside, or we are going to put this text by the top but in the center of this body which is header, and we are going to take this header element and target it. So we say our header, you can see header, and inside the header we are going to put there, we are going to give it height, and let us give the height as, for example, no, let's not set the height, width must be 100%, and you can see text align, everything that is text that is inside there must be inside the center. And when we have finally done that, you can see our text is now inside the header but at the top. If you wanted to see the header, I can give it also a box to see it by border. You will say 1 pixel solid red also, and you can see our box how it is looking like. The width is equal to the width of the browser, and when you inspect, you see our website is so responsive, there is no problem, you can see. And now I'm going to remove there this border, and by that border I will say background color and set it to that kind of brown. I first set brown and come here to rise this and take this simple, yes, Control S to save, and you can see something is happening, yes, and when you do a simple trick and say position fixed, it will be fixed on the browser instead of being fixed on what, on this part, or on this HTML file. So we can also remove it, and don't say position fixed, and allow the height, let's allow the height to be, for example, to be 100 pixels like that. You can see you can set height, you can even set the padding like this, padding 10 pixels, and you can see something have changed, and you can see it is working very well with no other problem. So to make our text look like white, you come inside this header and set color of every text that is inside there, and you set it to white like this. So you can see you have already made your header. Now we can come inside the footer and say our footer. You can see we have already set our footer here, our footer. It is the document that is inside this coding VS Code Studio is no problem to take it. I grab it, you can put it somewhere you want, there's no problem. This is the draggable software, there's no problem. So inside the footer, you can see the footer has also, it is the lastest part of our coding, you can see. And if we want this last part of our coding to have something like the top, because you can see inside this image they are looking the same. So you can take the entire, and you come here inside the footer and say I want the footer to have everything that is like that of inside the header. You Control C to copy them when you have already selected them, and you come here and paste by Control V. Yes, Control S to save. And when you come here, you can see everything have changed. Now you can see, yes. The other thing that is remaining is to care about inside. We have already built the first and the last part using the same trick. There is no other problem. So we are going inside we are going inside these two, header and the footer. So to do it, we come and take that section which is inside the main section like this, and set it margin to 10 pixel. When you set margin, you put the distance between it and other by, for example, by 10 pixel. And when you have already done that, it will somehow, you can see when I come here and I set the border to 1 pixel lead like that. Control S to save. You can see if I set the margin, the distance that I've pressed there, it goes outside of the box instead of being inside. So to put the inside, the text inside here, the distance inside there, you can you come here and set margin. No, it is padding is the one that is used to set the distance inside the box. Then you can see I have already finished everything. After putting the distance there, I have finished this simple look that you are seeing here. And now the other thing that I'm going to do is to style the button. So styling the button, there is no higher complicated thing. You come here, indicate the button, target the button, and say background color to be the same color as it is. Control C. You can see Control S to save, and you can see the background color is changed, but the button is looking very weird. And I will set the height, for example, to 40 pixels like that. You can see now button, the height have already changed, and I'm going to give it the border radius so that a rectangle edged change to rounded corner. So you come here inside the border radius and put there 8 pixel. Control S to save, and when you put there border radius, you see that angled edge have already turned it into the cornered edge. So you remove that line that is outside, and you say border, and you set it to none. You can see, and when you set it to none, you can see our border have already disappeared. And the last thing that is remaining, you see in the picture, they are telling us that this simple text must look somehow big, somehow its size will be increased, but not in quantity, but the size how they will be seeming like. And then the way to do it, you come here and set the font size. You can put there 600 like that, because it is measured. When you say font size like this, you can see there is larger, there is medium, there is small, there is smaller, there is X large, X small, X large, and we just grab that 600 because it is the one that we will need. And the Control S to save. You can see inside the button font size, let's say to 700, and I don't know what is happening here. It is not yet changed. So let's first set the color of that text and see. Color white. You can see no font size. No, that is not true. We take this font weight and we grab this 700 because it is the one that will make this text bold. That was a small mistake of not remembering that trick. So you can see the text have already changed. To make it somehow move on hover, you come here, they say cursor, take the 2-pointer. When the button goes there, you see it changes into a hand. So we are going to make it somehow attractive and say button on hover, it will transform scale. The transform scale by 0.2, and the way it will transform scale, each time will be transition. Everything will go in its way, all, and you set it all by 300 millisecond is in out like that. And when you hover the button over it, you see there is a simple thing that is happening there. I'm going to remove this border. So I'm going to take that border and say I don't want this border. And when I have finally removed the border, you see we have the useful thing that is going to be displayed there. So now, and then let's set the button on active. Yes, and we take this transform, no background color. When you have already clicked, you see there is hover and clicking. When you click, the button must change background color, and take it, for example, to blue, but this blue will be somehow whitish like this, and we allow it to be like that. You see, when it is now active, you see this is how it is. When you hover, it is changing. The scale is in. When it comes out and in, you see in and out. But when you click, you see our button is changing color from blue to somehow whitish blue. So this is the second part. Congratulations, you have already finished the second part of your coding. If you didn't surrender to this point, congratulations, and clap the hands for you. May God bless you even. So we are going into the third part, where we are going to see the interactiveness using JavaScript. The simple thing that I forgot to, I'm going to add there an image by that side, because they are telling us to put the image here that must be interacted with JavaScript. So the way I will do it, I will come inside this header, and because image is an inline element, you just put their image. You see there is nothing that changes there, and you grab it from this folder, this image. And the way to grab it, you will come here and say I want the image something that is inside there, and then you take that little hand, and you can see this little hand have already broken everything, and our website seems so weird. We are going to do another exercise of adding the image here. So to add the image there also, you come here and say image by this header. Also you can see it is one that is having the button, it is inside, it is below the unordered list, and put there the image and say I want this image with cache icon on it. And when you go there, you see also it is weirder, greater than the way it was weird. So what will we do so that this size of the image changes? So the trick that is behind, you come here and say this area and say image icon, because when you hover over an image, you can see when you hover over an image, there is nothing that is changing, but alt text, it goes with the title. When the image is not fully displayed on the browser, that text shows everything and tell you that this is an icon. You see when you load the web page and you see the image is not fully displayed, you see a simple text that is behind it. Show you, it tells you that the image is this by the title, and you will know each and everything as you follow along with the course. So come here and take this alt again and put there image icon like that, you can see. And now we are going to change the size of that image. Let our image have width of 40 pixels, or let's say maximum width instead of width. Max width, which is the maximum width that this image must have, must be 40 pixels. And when you finally have done that, no, maybe I have taken the long part, and I say the image this, and the Ctrl S to save, and you can see, yeah, we've pressed there the image, but we want it to be so interactive. When we have it will be working very well, and when we have it will be working very well, you can see. And inside that section, to see things very well, you can change this to from 20 to 10, so that the padding be less and we see everything at the same time. So, and when you want another footer and the header, you can come here inside the footer and reduce this pixel to, for example, 9. No, let us keep 10, no problem. And you will see it's working very well. We are going to make it interactive with this image. So the press this JavaScript inside HTML, the first way is to come here below the footer, below each and everything. The footer means the footer, it is the lastest part of the element that must be included in the file of HTML. So you come here, just get the JavaScript, which is for scripting. Script element, it is the one that will be helping you to display or show the interactiveness of the JavaScript within the website. You come here, set the script, and let's get that image and say our image must have an ID of image like that, and come here by this icon. What is the problem of this icon? Yes, image like that, and here we put another ID of image, still the same, and then we come here inside the script and get that simple image. Rate image, it is just a variable that we created, not the real image that as we write in it. We equal to document dot get element by id, which accesses that image id, and we put there the id of the image that we've pressed there, and we say let me do it like this. We grab that this simple image word from an id and put it here like image, Control S to save. You can see, and when you save it, no, it will be like this document that get element by id. We have already introduced our image in the JavaScript, and when we want to do something on the image, we will just click image dot style dot transform. We are going to change the scale, and when you finally did that, we will get transform, which is equal to like this, and take scale will be 1.02. For example, when you want to hover, we come here and say let's get that to be a function. Control X and say function hover, and we make it hover like this. Control V, Control S to save it, hover, and say like this, and you see the function is already created. And when we come here, we want our image to do something. When we hover over them, we come here and it say on mouse over, we will say we want that hover, which is the function, and Control S to save. Let us see whether it is working. You can see it is changing scale somehow. You see it is changing the scale, you see, and I want it to increase the scale by 1.2 like this. Control S to save, and when I hover, you see the real effect now is happening, you see. And we are going to put the other trigger here, and on mouse over again, we must have the hover like that. Control S to save, and you can see when you come here and you hover over our image, on mouse over again, hover both on the mouse over, and you can see what is happening on this image. This is only one that is taking that part. Yes, with the ID of image. Don't know why this mouse hover and mouse over. Yes, let's image, the ID is image also. Let's change the ID and say work work like this. Control S to save and give them the different IDs, and come here, Control C, Control V here, hover 01 like this, Control S to save, and come here and change the ID to worker like this, Control S to save, and let us see whether it is working. I don't know what is happening with this image. It is not just transforming like that. So what is the problem with this image? On mouse over, and you put there that number, we press it there, which is 01 like that, and let's, now there is also nothing happening, but when you do on that, it happens. So let us take the example as that first image, and if we want to change something there, and we want on mouse out, when the mouse goes far from it, let's create another function and say out function like this, and do it, just grab it, Control C to copy those above content, and press it here, Control S to save, and when you have finally saved it, I'm going to take this 1 when we are out of that when we move the cursor out of that image, what will happen? The scale must also return to 1, which is the same scale or initial scale, and then take the image dot style dot transition. It is the time that it will take. It must be, for example, 300 milliseconds like that. Control S to save, and you see something is changing, but it doesn't goes by when we move the cursor out of it. And the function that we'll be using is to take this here on mouse over, and then we take on mouse out, and we take that simple function of out like that, and Control S to save, and you can see when you hover it is changing, and when you get the mouse out, there is a magic that is happening. You can see it is so simple. But this image, I don't know what is happening on it, because it is the only one that is somehow not behaving weird somehow. Let's change this to work. For example, let's say this is the work like that, work like that. Let's see whether there is something that will happen. I don't know what is happening with this image, because it is not working very well. Image icon, right on mouse over, hover, let's set image to hover like that, hover, and see whether there is something we change. Yes, it is now working. And then on hover and on mouse out, you can see, you can put there out also, and the Control S to save. You can see, but we want also that image to behave like this. And now what we will do is to take the same ID, like work image ID work, like this work, Ctrl S to save, and let us see whether it is working also. Yes, you see now it is working, but this now it's stuck. I don't know what is happening with this images, but it requires that we create the function for it. So I hope you have seen the logic that is behind. Now we are going to take this simple paragraph and give the content by using this button. So for example, rate content equal, you create an array like this, and you write the first simple text and say I want to learn JavaScript. Then the second, I will make sure I study CSS, and that again you create another simple text that is called working together the easy good, like that. Good. Yes. Ctrl S to save. The second thing that we are going to do is to get a simple text that is behind, that is inside there. I will explain it while we will be running the JavaScript. For now, I will be showing you how to get it. So let message that we want from there equal to math.flow. That is the process of when you have, for example, 2.2, it must be 2. When you put here a math.flow, it puts the number 2 exact down 2 zeros, and when you put the math.cl, it increases the number. If you have 5.2, the 5.5, it will go to 5.6. You see that it is increasing and reducing. So it will do what? It will get math.random, which is the number that is between 1 and 0, and take it by multiplying content dot length, you see, and we want the important camel case there, caps lock I, b will equal to the content, and put there a small text that is called the content, like this. Ctrl S to save, and when you are at, for example, you are at the important, Ctrl S to save, you go there and you find something have happened. Okay, what is it saying? That it is undefined. The important, we go to the content of the message, message, which is going to take the text that we want from there. Ctrl S to save, and you have, see, I want to run JavaScript, and when you click like this, it say I will make sure I study CSS, and when you do it again, I want to learn JavaScript, the text will keep on changing based on the way you want it. So we want that text to be displayed in this paragraph with an ID of Java. So you come here below it and let Java, but this is a simple. I take a name from here, but this inside the JavaScript we don't know whether this is a variable or anything. It is just a name that we are going to give a variable. So let Java equal to document dot get element by id, and this id will be Java like this. Control S to save, and below it we are going to give the text that thing, and we will say Java dot inner HTML will equal to what, the important, like this. Control S to save. Normally nothing is happening there, we are still seeing this, and the text is not even being shown displayed on below this button. So to display it, what we will be doing, so let us get a simple function. Let's get the function, and we name it get text with this, and then we have this thing, simple thing, and they say let's grab this whole thing and Control X to cut it and give it here a simple thing like this. Control S to save. Then when we press it something there, the other thing that is very important is that we are going to pass that function to the exact location where we want it to be. So you come here and you grab this text, get text, but you remove this alert because it's the box that shows the message on the browser. Alert, you see, when you alert like this, you can see yet alert is not being displayed because everything now is inside the function. But when you take this text, get text like this, get text out of the box and do this, Control S to save, we will find everything have already changed. It is not working very well. So you see that JavaScript is working very well to make the website so interactive. Now the important thing to do is to grab this function. You see, Control C to copy, and you come here, ID with the content, and put there, for example, let's say on click. It is the button. When we click on the button, what we will see is that thing. Let's see whether our function is working very well, and let's remove this alert from here and get this text from here. Control S like this, Control S to save. You can see working very good. Let's see again whether it is working. Now you can see some text is being displayed when we click, and you can see I make sure that I study CSS. Our text is being chosen from the random as we have you can see, and now we are going to put it on the separate file. So everything that is inside in this JavaScript, we are going to cut it. We will come here and grab it from to here, Control X to cut it, and you put here in document.js. You can see Control S to save, and here Control S to save. And when you have finally did this, you can see it is no longer interactive. And to bring back the JavaScript, you can come here at below the footer, that is where we press the script file, and you just write source file and the document.js like this, and you will find your website being being interactive like the way it was doing, and when you click it is showing the text very well. So again, the location of this script can be pressed inside the header, but below every link, below everything that will link with this HTML, and you come here and put it here again, it will be working very well. Control S to save, and when you do that, show me it will be working well, and when you have it is working very well. So thank you. If you reached to this point, I have already seen the way your career is working like. So don't hesitate. This is a coding for beginners and those who want to change the career and see whether they can handle these courses of programming. So don't hesitate to like, share and subscribe. When you go in inspection, you can see its responsiveness is very good, and on every phone, like come here in iPad it will be looking like that, and on Samsung ZenBook you can come here, iPhone XR, things like that. You see our website is now working very well. Congratulations again, you have created a very responsive website. So continue learning, continue working. This is one of the best practical course for you. Thank you, good times, and keep learning.